form factor, talking out loud, that one might get is a Model 3 pack, and the 4 modules therein. There are 4 modules. They're the full length of the pack. A lot of folks might have seen the construction. That's the largest module on the market today that we've seen, and we can process it. However, I think an important point is you do have this changing movement also towards cell to pack, different pack infrastructure or pack design, and we're completely flexible to take that full gamut. But it's important because it is talking about challenges. For recyclers, we are the end point of that total set of degrees of freedom. And so it takes innovation to be able to make sure that you can take that full gamut, and we are set up to do that.
Yeah, and that's a good point. And it would be nice to see OEMs starting to scope into some of their design of packs, and modules, recycling in mind, just to make it easier and more flexible and to add to that kind of commercial proposition. One final question then, AJ, from Paul Renken. Will the businesses be based on being paid to take the batteries or purchasing them? That's an intriguing question from Paul.
Yeah, great question. Yeah, I think there's 2 parts of the answer. I think the historical industry has been reliant somewhat on being paid to make recycling work, and it partly has to do with legacy infrastructure, waste-oriented companies. It's not really being a very large market historically. So that's been the norm. However, there is a need as this industry matures that we move away from that. Now, lithium-ion batteries are a complex basket of various materials, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of valuable materials in them. So we as Li-Cycle have a very flexible commercial model. We can do a range of things, but I think that's very important for this industry moving forward. And from the automotive OEMs, there will be an expectation, and there already is, that in the long term, this won't be a large cost, and hence innovations needed to really transform the economic norm.
Yeah, we've got quite a few more questions on economics of it all, which I think will come into some of the other presentations. But for now, AJ, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for going through that in absolute detail. So please don't go away. Hang around for concluding Q&A at the end. We'll be going through a fair bit of that. And then hopefully we can do this, get all our ducks in a row. So that would be good. We're going to fly all the way back now, obviously virtually, to Perth in Australia, and Andrew Spinks is going to join us. Andrew is MD of EcoGraph, which is about high purity graphite for lithium-ion battery industry. So yeah, hopefully you're there. What are we now? 5 to midnight, is it, Andrew, for you?
Yes, good morning and afternoon to you, Roger. I should point out that the Tesla Battery Day started at 4:30 a.m. Here in Perth as well. So it's been a long day.
Have you been to sleep at all between that time and now then, Andrew?
I've had a few cups of coffee and I've just had another one. So hopefully all's well.
Excellent. Well, look, I'll say no more and shove off and leave you to it, my friend. So it's all yours, sir.
Oh, thank you, Roger, for the introduction. EcoGraph, we're focused on providing obviously an anode material. We've spent 7 years, $35 million developing a vertically integrated graphite business, really positioned to support the global transition to clean energy and e-mobility. A quick read of the disclaimer. We've developed three business cases over those 7 years. I guess the really important aspect is they're standalone businesses and very much focused on markets outside of China. The key highlights, a quick overview of the key highlights of the mine is that it's development ready. We're pursuing a debt financing process with Germany's largest state-owned bank, KfW, through our partnerships with ThyssenKrupp and Sajitz Corporation. We believe our Panko project is probably one of the best undeveloped projects. The Kwinana development to produce a battery-grade graphite for the anode market is the result of the last 4 years' work, and this is a scalable project based on a multi-jurisdiction location. We're starting off with our first facility in Kwinana. It's sort of centred around a a chemical process that does not use hydrofluoric acid. It's a very friendly chemical process. And that really underpins our third development, which is the topic of today, is recycling, using our eco-friendly non-HF purification in the exciting new field of recycling and recovering the carbon anode material. All right, a quick overview of the company. We're obviously based here in Perth, Western Australia. We have piloting facilities in Germany that's done an enormous amount of product testing. We're listed on the ASX. We've got a secondary listing on the Frankfurt. Market cap is around 62 million at 17 cents at present. Our largest shareholder is Mitsubishi Financial Group at just over 12%, and board has a significant holding. The market is compelling, as we all know. I guess the battery market from an anode through the anode lens. Our business is to provide a clean, green, alternate supply to the battery manufacturers of graphite. I guess the really important aspect is all this material is coming out of China, and there is no other supply. The other interesting aspect is the anode composition is quite simple. It's a combination of both natural spherical graphite and synthetic, with a small percentage of around 3% of silicon. And as we've seen today or yesterday, the announcement by Tesla to increase the silicon content is quite exciting. One of the issues with silicon is that it expands 300%. So there is a safety factor, and it looks like Tesla have developed some sort of cushion or binder that sits around the silicon, and it looks like they've got aspirations of increasing the silicon to 5 to maybe 15%. In any event, whatever the silicon content is, there's going to be a requirement of a huge demand for graphite in the future. The investment in Europe, as we see, is enormous, and I guess what's really surprising us, because we've been developing the graphite business over the last 7 years, is the massive supply risk all this investment has. There is currently no other supply for battery natural spherical graphite. It all comes from China. So we see that as a massive supply, and where our business fits very nicely as an alternate supply. The good news is the EU is now sort of recognising it and starting to draw up where this raw material is going to come from. And also over the last week, we've seen increased interest from the EU on recycling. An overview of our graphite business, our downstream business. We've done an enormous amount of work. It's centred around the purification process. We've completed engineering studies, optimizations, enormous 3 years of product qualification. We've signed our first offtake with ThyssenKrupp, and we're progressing a financing arrangement with the Australian government. The capital cost is set out below its stage, matched to market, and the returns are very attractive. The reasoning for putting the location in facility selecting Kwinana was really twofold. One was the very strong government support, but secondly, the strong European customer support from Europe and the US looking for an alternate supply. What I'd like to do now is just share a video. It's a 2-minute overview that will just give you a overview of our facility in Kwinana, and then we'll talk about the recycling business.
Ecograph has invested substantially over the past few years to establish a unique and environmentally superior graphite processing technology. The proposed Ecograph facility will initially commence with a production rate of 5,000 tonnes per annum, followed by an expansion to a capacity of 20,000 tonnes per annum. The state-of-the-art new process plant eliminates the use of hydrofluoric acid and instead the EcoGraph processes produces graphite in 2 stages. Firstly, the mechanical shaping of the graphite and then multi-stage chemical purification. The purified graphite is then dried and bagged prior to transport. EcoGraph high-purity graphite will be globally exported to lithium-ion battery markets. The facility is expected to employ more than 250 construction employees and 60 direct employees during ongoing production. It is expected to generate significant royalties and taxes over its first 20 years of operation. Demand for high-purity battery graphite is forecast to increase 700% by 2025, with growth expected to shift into Europe and US markets. The EcoGraph Kwinana manufacturing facility will be well positioned to meet this growing demand and be part of the massive global investment to transition to ethical renewable energy storage.
Video's
sorry,
gone
that
off,
was-
Andrew.
Yeah, sorry. So that's that was just the sorry. Let me just share the stop. Sorry, share. Yeah, sorry about that. So we're back. We're very close to finalising the lease on that site. So we're very close to finalising the lease with the state government. The next slide provides an overview of what we see entitled with the slide is closing the carbon loop. The challenge that we see with recovering the carbon is at the moment the carbon material is not currently recovered is landfilled. So there is going to be efforts required. We see two product streams: production scrap and black mass is the two product streams that we're looking to recover. At the moment, recycling efforts are focused on the cathode, as we've heard, and that is going into base metals. The opportunity that we see and from recovering the material is a reduction in the battery unit cost from recycling the anode material, and obviously contributing to a lowering in the carbon footprint. We see the solution is very much circular, and collaboration is critical. We take the black mass, the carbon material, after the hydrometallurgical process, and then look at recovering the carbon. So we see leadership required from the electrical vehicle manufacturers and lithium-ion battery makers, with collaboration with the hydrometallurgical processes, because we take that material. The results we've received to date are very positive, and we've been able to recover high purity carbon anode material and demonstrates the powerful process of our EcoGraph purification. And as a result of those results, we've updated our patent to include recycling within that patent application that we have. The purification process is a multi-step process. It's cost-effective and to recover the anode material. I guess the other key aspects of the process is that it's non-toxic. There's no toxic gas or residues. It can be located in any industrial park, and it's a very all the chemicals that we use are available in all those parks. As I said, the results we've received are exciting, and they're for both production scrap and black mass. We've achieved up to 100% on the production scrap, and not up to 99.6% on the carbon, black mass carbon. And we believe with further work on the purification, we can get that grade up higher. The good news is through that process, we've been able to retain the particle shape. And this is a microscopic image of the recovered carbon anode material. And it's the oval shapes, as we can see, is the natural spherical graphite. And what we're also seeing is the platy synthetic material. And I guess the importance of retaining the shape is critical, because one of the biggest contributions to putting this material back into reusing into the battery is the particle shape. It's a major specification requirement from the anode. So it's quite exciting that we're seeing the original material maintaining its shape. Our strategy to recover and reuse the carbon is on two efforts, and this is an overview of our strategy. Firstly, we've got the lithium-ion cell manufacturing down the left-hand side. We're looking at the production scrap coming through the hydrometallurgical processes, and also end-of-life batteries coming in. So this material, black mass, after the cathode metals are taken out, we pick that up and purify. And we're working on a couple of markets to put this material back into, in the natural graphite market and the synthetic, because this is a composite material of both natural and synthetic. What is exciting for us is taking this carbon anode scrap and potentially taking that off the waste shop floor and recycling and putting that straight back into the market. And that's an in-process closed-loop opportunity, and that has significant financial benefits. The production scrap market is a large market. This is a table, a graph presented based on information from Panasonic and Tesla. Production losses during cell production is significant. Yield losses are largely due to testing, battery testing, but potentially in the early production, it's up to 30%. And the target for the battery manufacturers is 5 to 10%. And even at the lower estimate of 5, there's a lot of volume of production scrap. And that's significant on the emissions front. And this is a graph provided by No Canary and based on Volkswagen. It's a graph showing the footprint of the EV production, and the battery represents over 40% of the carbon emissions footprint. So that is quite significant in terms of the production scrap, the impact of recycling this material, and then the longer term objective of introducing and reusing the black mass. So recycling of the carbon anode material has an important role to reduce emissions. So we see closing the carbon loop as a critical component for our business. We see a tailored and customized solution for this material for those two key benefits, which is really significant. And I guess the unique benefit we've got that we bring as part of our vertically integrated business is the blending, using its high purity graphite that comes with a credit. It's slightly above the specification. The specification for battery spherical graphite is 99.95. So it comes with the credit, and we see blending that with this recovered anode strengthens the ability to blend that recovered anode material back into the battery. So coming back where we began on the mine, just a quick overview. There's an enormous body of work available on our website. We've done a significant work program on this. We've completed a bankable feasibility study. We've had an independent engineer through KfW that's supporting the debt financing. We see that one of the key benefits through that process is we've had to meet Equator principles. It cost us about an additional $12 million through the due diligence process to meet the IFC performance standards of World Bank, which is really what the car manufacturers are looking for: a clean, green, raw material, responsibly produced. Panko has all the technical capability, technical aspects to make this a very commercial, profitable, long life mine. We're beginning with 60,000 tonnes and we'll scale up. And our partners include ThyssenKrupp and Sajits. And the capital estimate is modest, with 60,000 tonnes at 90 million, but again, very attractive returns for the company. So in summary, we've got a significant value proposition. Both the upstream and downstream are development ready, and we've now opening up the recycling using our EcoGraph purification process. And I must say, this is just the beginning. This is very much scaled to demand today, not some unrealistic projection. So the future looks extremely bright for us. So thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to any questions.
Andrew, thank you very much, and thank you for talking to us from the future, because of course it's already Thursday there for you, isn't it? Or is it Wednesday? Honestly, the days just.
I believe it's Thursday.
That's right. Yeah, it's Thursday. Yes, it's all coming back to me now. Thank you so much for that. There's so much going on, that I think is predicated on lots of forecasts and projections. So let's hope a few of them come in. But let's jump to a few specific questions. Here's a really good one from Tyson Wilmot. I'm really interested to know this, so I hope this is a really good test for you. How do you separate the synthetic graphite from the natural graphite and silicon?
Look, we're of the view that at the moment we're not trying to achieve any separation, so we're calling it a carbon anode material. I think that we don't think it is possible at this stage to separate it. May be able to in the future, because there is a particle size differentiation, but what we're focused on is reintroducing the carbon anode material as a composite back in.
Okay.
Into the marketplace.
Perhaps Tyson's asking the question as a tease because he knows how to do it. So if he does, he should get in touch with us, I guess. So this is from Chris White. Given the upcoming growth in demand for lithium-ion battery materials, do you think second life batteries would do more harm than good since they delay the recycling stock feed by several more years? That is a good question from Chris. I was thinking that as well, because, if we look at use, reuse and recycle, the reuse bit's sort of in your way a little bit, isn't it? What do you think of Chris's question?
Oh, look, I think the demand forecast for transition to clean energy, energy storage, e-mobility, we're going to have to recycle. So, reusing batteries and recycling is a must, and probably consistent with what Chris was presenting at the beginning.
Okay. Look, we've got lots more questions, but as I said, I'm conscious that it's now Thursday morning for you. So I'm definitely going to recommend some more of that coffee you mentioned earlier, and say, for the moment, Andrew, thank you very, very much for going through that with us. Don't go away.
Thanks.
Please don't go.
Thanks, Roger. I'm going for a cup of tea
Good
or a
man.
glass of red.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll have both. Treat yourself. So we're going to jump back over now to the United States.